Hey there, it's Derek from Pacific Coast Auto in Japan here, looking at a really clean, super duper clean AE86 that we bought from auction for export here. This one here has unknown mileage, but it's a 1986 model, so a late model. This one's going to go over to Germany. I'm not sure how many 86s are in Germany, so this is going to be quite interesting to see, but condition-wise, this is about as clean as you can possibly think of for these. It is amazing. And we've probably exported about 50 of these 86s over the years. Been in business since 2008 when these were a pretty popular car to buy and export. Nowadays, prices have gone through the roof. In about the last 5 years or so, they got very, very expensive. At the same time, a lot of them were running out of condition. So I'm going to talk about the condition of this one. This one is not for sale. I know a lot of people, when they see these cars, they'll say, hey, how much? You can email us if you want to know the price. I'm not going to say the price of this particular one, but I will say it was one of the more expensive ones. But I'm glad to see, and I was worried about this, that the car might be in bad condition, but it's not. It is fantastic. And being someone who's always appreciated an 86 and used to daily drive 2 of them back in Canada, this is really, really good. Okay, so first off, the 4AG engine. These put out only about 120 horsepower here in Japan, a little bit more than the US model version because no emissions controls. And this one, you see the blue lettering on it. This is what they consider a blue top. They also had a red top one, which was in the MR2. Okay, I'm not sure if it is the original engine. It could very well be original, but who knows? Once the vehicles get this old, now we're coming on 40 years for these. You don't know what's original and what's not. Interior and exterior both look really good. Oh, I'm so excited. I'm losing control of what I'm saying. Okay, so it still has the original air box with the pass over here for the intake. These are one of the first things to go on a lot of 86s, and so it's really cool that this one still has the original one. It is an original red, as you can see, but the body is not red, as you can also see. And so that is kind of a little bit of a disappointment. Usually keeping the original color keeps more value in it. But it is good to see that the body is one of the straightest and cleanest ones I've ever seen. And this one definitely hasn't been in an accident. There's no signs of rust anywhere in the engine room. Okay. Oil and coolant both look okay. But when you start the car, the gasoline has gone bad. You can smell it in the exhaust big time. So it definitely needs some new gas. Still has 3/4 of a tank, which is pretty cool. And although it's unknown mileage, we have a few hints here and there. It's a 2011. In 2011, it had 78,000 kilometers, and the timing belt was changed at that time. And then we have a few sheets of history from 2004, 2006, 2012, 2015. Okay, and I'll go and translate that auction inspection sheet in a second. Just going to close the hood here. Of course, got the headlights up because company policy, got to have those headlights up on anything with retractable headlights. And man, is this ever cool to have. We owned ours in 2004, 2005, 2006. And I say we because it was actually my girlfriend who became my wife whose car it was, but we used to daily drive it together. My Toyota truck and her 86. And speaking of Toyota truck, I got a new one. Anyway, let's go and translate this. And it might take a little bit because there's a few things to translate here. So it's a 1986 Sprinter Trueno GT Apex version. The GT Apex version of it doesn't have the rear speakers in it. It has a few things. It might have the LSD, for example. It's actually been such a long time since I've thought about 86s that all my 86 knowledge has gone away. So it's a little bit of a shame. But anyways, whether it's GT Apex or an AE85, which is the 1.5 liter version, still fuel injected here in Japan, because these are such common cars to rebuild, the original stuff is not necessarily going to be what's in the car anymore. And so the grade doesn't matter as much unless it still is the original, all original equipment in there that came with that grade. In which case, I don't know if that's the case here. Anyways, auction grade 3.5, interior C. I think that's being a little bit harsh on it. I think interior B is maybe closer to the more reasonable number there. See here, the star means mileage is unknown. Original red, color changed to white. Okay, and here's the sales points. battery and spark plugs have been changed. Original automatic changed to manual. This is really neat because Japan got a very slim amount of autos, like maybe 5% or so were autos. A lot of them got converted over to manuals, but kind of interesting little tidbit there. Watanabe 14-inch wheels. I'll give you a quick little look at those. And they definitely suit this car. They are the same wheel that the infamous Takumi has on his 86, and a lot of people in Japan want to keep that for the style. Aftermarket exhaust, suspension, and shocks. And this is one of the first 86s that I bought, save from a few super clean ones that we probably exported about 6, 7, or 8 years ago, that the suspension feels tight and nice, including the steering, the shocks, the springs. Everything just feels really good, like all bushings must have been replaced or something. It doesn't feel like poly bushings, which will give you a pretty terrible ride, especially on an old and lightweight car like this. But really good, really good. Okay, it comes with some history papers, warranty papers, and owner's manual. The seller says aftermarket clutch with question mark. If it is, it's an easy clutch. So it's like, just one step up from original. Aftermarket that's opposite. Aftermarket quick shift and aftermarket clutch. And yes, it is a quicker shift, meaning less distance to move the lever when you're shifting. Gauge section or gauge meter, what do you call this? Gauge set has been replaced, so the mileage is unknown. Comes with history papers here from these 4 years. That's for the inspection. Every 2 years in Japan, you have to get a car inspected for roadworthiness, and so it'll come with those for those years. So here's the report. This is the important part. It says passenger seat has cigarette burn, driver's seat saggy, headliner's dirty, trunk and interior liner part cracked Y2. Okay, tonneau cover is missing. I don't know if I've seen a tonneau cover in quite a long time on these. Very hard to find. Underside scratched and dented. Color change, including some paint wave. It's actually been really well done for a repaint. Rear hatch damper doesn't work. It's about 9/10 working. It'll hold it up, but just when you're getting your groceries out, it'll come and slam down on your neck. Engine and transmission are leaking oil, and wheels are peeling paint. Let me just show you here. Okay, so nothing's actually dripping down. I've had the car here for about 30 minutes, including warming up the engine to operating temperature. Okay, has a wiper scratch on the windshield, which I can't quite make out there. Paint cracks on the front bumper. Has a U2 over here. That's actually from the tire touching the edge of the fender because the vehicle's been lowered. I'll show you that when we get to it. C1 over here is very, very light, which is corrosion and rock chips over here. Okay, so judging by the diagram, it looks like it's in really good condition. Now I will show you the car. And boy, is it great. Oh, I want one of these again, but I can't afford one. I mean, if I really, really wanted to, I could. But you can get lots of other cars for the same amount of money. And I'm kind of stingy when it comes to my cars. Like, our daily is a 2004 minivan. And the other cars I own are all broken, it seems. Except for that new Toyota truck that I just picked up, which we probably will put on the channel in a second here. Like a driving video for it. So we kind of discourage people from buying 86s. Oh, my alarm's going off. I got a car coming in that's broken, so I got to clear cars out here. So I got to finish this up pretty quick. But the 86s are really, really hard to buy in anything that's even resembling roadworthy condition. They're so old, and so many of them have been used for racing here in Japan, or drifting, or, just owned by people that didn't take care of them. Like 30 years ago, these cars were generally really cheap. And so like Rice Boy is not the right word. Race Boy is the word I was looking for. Definitely didn't want to seem racist. But you know what type of person it is. Someone who doesn't really care about the car other than making it look flashy and then driving like an idiot on the road. People own them like that. And it means that not many of them survived. And because they were popular with racing, the interiors usually got stripped out. This one has the full original condition interior in excellent condition. So let's take a look at just some details as we go around. Firstly, this bumper here is a Koki bumper, or a late model bumper. The lip, I think, is the original late model lip. I'm not 100% sure on that. fender edges have not been rolled, front or back, which is remarkable. Still has the plastic inside piece too. Usually people roll those, every single one. This one here has been rebuilt from rust. You can feel it if you touch it. One of the better rebuilds I've ever seen. It's properly done when you take a look inside. Okay, and the C1, teeny bit of bubbling here, and a little bit, can you see that? It's kind of dark. Right there, there's the rust. Now the underside looks really clean. I can't see everywhere, but I do want to show you this. So everything that I can see, you can see that big dent in the frame rail, but it is a low old car, so you're going to get that. But everything looks clean and nice. Aftermarket exhaust, trailing arm suspension. These use a solid rear axle, which is a little bit weird for a sports car, but it just works. If you drive one of these, you'll know. Okay, yellowed lights here. I don't know if these corner ones are the official or original ones. Trueno badge. People don't know how to pronounce this in Japanese. I usually say Trueno or 86, just because 86 is easier to say. In Japanese, it's pronounced more like to-re, that's the opposite direction. To-re-no, like toreno. Okay, got a little scuff down here. And then the paint cracks on the front bumper. There's some here and some here. Going down the side, this one has the side skirts. Now, I thought these side skirts were only on the early model. I could be wrong about that. So please don't trust me. For color change, this is a remarkably little amount of paint wave. And there are no sections where I'm like, that's not done well. I know, there comes the high ace. Fuck. I mean, I shouldn't have said that, wow. That might be a remarkable moment, the first time I've ever sworn on this channel. The red on the upper side of the taillights, also known as the red striped lights, are sought over around the world. They weren't on the USDM market ones or the Canadian market ones. We have some scratches here. He's 10 minutes early. Okay, door cards, very good. Still, it doesn't have the original little decal here that teaches you about changing the oil every 5,000 kilometers. Original steering wheel. Wow. Now Grant owns one of these too, one of the new staff. He says that that's not what the American steering wheels look like. But that's, I believe, no, not believe, I know that's what the Canadian ones look like because both of ours had those. Seats. Wow. The original seats in really good condition. Now this little piece here tends to crack and peel apart really bad on almost all of them. None on the driver's seat that I could see. Only one crack on the passenger seat. Usually it starts to peel up and stuff because of heat. That's amazing. In here we got some cigarette burns. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Kind of a shame. I'll show the rest of the interior in a second. I'm just going to have to go get that high ace. Okay, got the broken high ace into the lot by taking a bunch of cars out. I gotta park those back in after this. Anyway, back to the interior here. So yes, seat, thumbs up. Steering wheel, oh my gosh, thumbs up. Take a look at this. So little wear on it that the steering wheel is still cushy. Still has the texture on it. That's the original steering wheel too. It feels a little bit large by today's standards, but it does suit the car, I guess. It is an old car. These cars, first year of these cars was the second year of my life. So kind of weird to think of it that way. I got the headlights up. With this one, you can, here's the headlights up and down. You can just turn it. Oh, you can't turn it off without the car being on. Interesting. Didn't know that. And then you can illuminate or deluminate the dash gauge section. This one is the analog gauges. There is a digital gauge set with LEDs, which is really cool, but they tend to break pretty quickly, and the analog one actually tells you your RPM a little bit better. Okay, it's missing floor mats. Did I mention that? I can't remember. I was dealing with a high ace for 15 minutes. And look at this. This is original lumbar support, like the old pump shoes of the 80s. Everything in the 80s needed to have a pump on it. And this fills up the back cushion of air, and then you press the button and it's like, ah. You also have adjustable lumbar support with this dial here, so you can pinch in yourself. Full original seat too. Very cool. Okay, so let's jump in a little bit, have a look. No cracks in the dashboard anywhere. Amazing. Air conditioner still works strong. And look at this. You've never seen the air conditioner panel look as clean and crisp as this does. It's made out of a thin plastic, very easy to get sun damage, very easy to crack. And these buttons here, usually the letters are worn so much that you can't even read them anymore. Oh, satisfying. And yes, this is an auto AC. Look at that. You set it to auto. You set this to your temperature in Celsius. Very cool. Okay, very clean in the cigarette area, wherever that's called. Ashtray, that's what it is. I know my English. That's barely been used. We know that it has been smoked in. I think it was the previous owner, or the owner before the previous owner, because it doesn't smell like cigarettes at all in here, but the headliner is a little bit discolored. CD player with MD function. Probably a pretty cool looking one. Very 90s though. No floor mats. Barely any wear on the shifter. Here's what the short shifter looks like. I mean, okay. And if that looks long by today's standards, it kind of is. Has a very clicky feeling to it. But the original one is like so long. So if it were me, I'd take the quick shift out and have the original one, because I really like the feel of a really long shifter like that. I'll show you headliner. Okay, so a little bit discolored. Also, no rust along here. No rust down here. Nothing here. These door jambs, they're all rusty now on most of them. Everything looks spotless. None of it up in here. This has been replaced. This has been replaced. Have you ever seen one of these window surrounds look so nice? Wow. No rust on the back hatch. No rust down in here. They always rust down in there. Oh, and you got to check this out. Man, I'm getting too excited. The back, the top of the seats doesn't have any of the seams pulled. Usually because the window is there, you get a lot of UV damage on those seats, and you'll get cracked vinyl on them. And all of the stitching pulls out. Original seats, yes. Belts are a little bit messy, but easy to fix. And fabric's a little bit loose, you can see there. Not really a big problem. These are the late model versions of these. The late model ones always peel up like this. The early model ones don't. So they're slightly different. This one is a plastic with a fabric on top. The early model ones were just a full vinyl piece. Okay, now there is a tear in the interior liner right here. Very minor one. Okay. And let's go to the trunk. The trunk doesn't fully latch in properly. It's still, it's up a little bit. It kind of looks like this. This is up more because I just popped it, but it's up more than it should be. And yeah, these don't, the struts don't work very well. But look at that. So clean and so nice in here. There are some cracks in the interior plastic liner here, like the auction sheet said, but they're very much out of the way of what you normally see. Okay. This version doesn't have the speakers in these panels like some of them have. No strut tower braces have been added, requiring you to cut this plastic cladding. Stitching on the top is all good, and the seats don't sag very much. Because these seats only click in one side, they tend to sag in the middle. So let me show you. I'm going to just rest my head here on the hatch. They only click in right here. So this one here is completely free of anything. There's no bar that goes between here. And so they tend to like sag inward there sometimes. No, not so much saggy on this one. There's a teeny bit, but not much. And then you look here, there's no accident damage, no rust. Everything has been repainted. No rust up there. Wow. And when I pull this excellent condition fabric up, The sound deadening material hasn't all decomposed, so that's good. It is red in here, but whoa, look at how clean that is. No signs of rust, no smell of mold. All of your regular 86 problems that happened 15 years ago, even 20 years ago, they're not in this car. It's quite remarkable. The back card up here, for some reason, these tend to get all like wavy and weird. No wavy and weirdness on this one. Amazing. So I wish that everybody who bought an 86 would get one that is this clean. But that doesn't really happen. Most of the time, at least when we were selling 86s, high chance of getting one that's pretty rough. And I'm sure that that same sentiment goes today. Although as more time goes on, you're going to find more of them in this kind of condition. As the price has gone up, it allows people to spend money on restoring them, whereas previously there just wasn't enough money in restoring them. So you're going to see a lot of kind of straight 86s turn into parts cars to restore ones like this. So, whoa, very cool. I want to go for a drive, but I can't. I got other things to do. But this has been a 86, 1986 version of an 86 in much higher than average condition. Sorry, the video is a little bit longer than usual, but when it's a special car like this, I think it somewhat necessitates it. So thanks for watching, and have a nice day.